What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Lockdown 23-1. And today we're going to be talking about top 5 worst fears an inmate could possibly have. All right, and the list can be much bigger than just 5 things, trust me. Because, I mean, your freedom's taken, and you're confined to this little space. You can't run, you can't hide, everyone knows where you're at. So there's certain things, that just elevates. On the streets you can have enemies, you can run. You got thousands of miles to drive to get away from that individual, But in prison it's a different story. You make an enemy, you're gonna have to deal with it, and some people get dealt with a lot worse than others. And some things, they ain't physical, they're emotional, and there's one on the list that is emotional. And I've seen some people go through it. And man, let me just say, it's something that I feared the most, all right? But first on the list, okay, some of these things, it's not really pertaining to every inmate, but let's face it, when you're in the penitentiary, most prisons, people are affiliated with gangs, all right? They're affiliated with gangs, and even these gang members have fears, and that's what we're gonna be talking about. Some of these on the top 5 list is pertaining to those individuals. All right, so number one on the list, I know it's something that I fear. I know deep down every inmate fears this. They have that oh shit face or thought going through their mind when this happens. And I spoke about it the other day, and that is the ride of your life, the dump game. I don't care who you are. You get picked up in the air when you're fighting and you're over that dude's shoulder, and you're sitting over that dude's shoulder. And there's that pause. There's that pause before he just drops you to the ground. And you're like, damn, please, God, don't let me die from this drop. And ladies and gentlemen, some of these dudes are strong as an ox. Okay, so when they pick you up and they sling you down to the concrete, I mean, I had fear for individuals. I wasn't even going through it. I saw some dudes get lifted up. I said, oh, damn, I had fear for them. I said, this might be the end of their life. People sleep on this. People think the fists are vicious. But I'm telling you, when you get dumped, okay, there's all kinds of things that can happen. All kinds. People getting their heads split, seizures. I speak about this stuff all the time, man. So, number 1 on the list is dump game. Ladies and gentlemen, that's coming in hot at number 1 is the dump game. And not only that, this kind of adds on to number 1 is getting put to freak to sleep. That is the last thing you want done to you when you're fighting in prison, is to get put to sleep, because you don't know what the hell is going to happen to you after that. Okay? They could just beat the hell out of you while you're unconscious. You don't know what's going to happen. They could do something even worse, and that brings me into number 2, even though it is pretty much everybody's worst fear, all right? Even the biggest individuals, they could get got, all right? Even though they might not think they could, but they can. And deep down, they don't want this crap to happen. And it doesn't happen too often, okay? But over here on the East Coast and down south, I can assure you, someone is getting taken advantage of sexually. That's a fact. I know some places they don't stand for it. Well, look, over here, and I've explained this plenty of times on my channel, homosexuality is wide open. They do their thing. There's guys sleeping with other guys, and that's just what they do. That's the prison life in a lot of places on the East Coast and down south. People ain't over here trying to make them check in. Do your thing, be respectful, and everyone will live. Bygones be bygones. So number 2 on the list, ladies and gentlemen, is getting those Junie cakes taken. No damn inmate wants that to happen. They think it would never happen to them. There's a lot of cats out there that thought that it would never happen to them, but it did, And people say all the time, man, I would never let that happen. You don't know what the hell will happen to you. Like I said, you get in a fight, dude puts you to sleep, then what are you going to do? What you going to do? You're asleep, So, and not only that, there's other guys out there that they're just, they physically putting hands on you, they beat the hell out of you. You are not going to be the biggest and baddest individual in there. I can assure you that. There's going to be someone that could take you out very easily and do what he wants with you. So that is number 2 on the list, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, getting taken advantage of sexually. Let's just face it. It's prison, okay? It ain't always a myth. I'll tell you that. I can promise you that. Now, number three Number 3 on the list is pertaining to, I guess you could say, people that are affiliated with organizations, all right? And this is probably shooting more along the lines towards Cali or those western states where, they're kind of forced upon them to join a certain clique. Now check it out, there are guys on the streets that do their gang banging on the streets, but when they get locked up in prison, they see it's a whole nother realm. It's a whole nother world. I try to tell people that all the time. Hopefully it gets through to some individuals out there, but it's very close quarters combat. Back in the days in New York City and probably other states as well, they used to tie each other's arms up. Okay, they used to tie each other's arms up, whether it's with a belt or rope or something. They would tie each other's arms up, rival gangs, and they would have a knife in the other hand. So only one person was leaving that fight. All right, close quarters combat. It's the same way in the penitentiary. You might not be tied up, but you are confined to a very close area. So number 3, ladies and gentlemen, is putting in work. Okay, and another thing about this whole putting in work thing, there's a lot of individuals that are asked to go about doing certain things, and they only got like 2-3 years left. And that's the main reason why a lot of people check in. Okay, a lot of warriors will check in because they know that they were forced to go put in some work that could give them some extra time. And that's another fear, getting fresh charges, especially if you don't have life, 10, 20 years over your head or anything like that. If you're not sentenced to that amount of time, you just got less than 10 years and someone's telling you to go put in some work and shank someone, look, you just don't want to be a part of that business. You want to go home, Is earning stripes in the penitentiary worth more than your freedom? To some people it is, but not to Old Death and not to the majority of individuals that might be a part of these affiliations. You might deny it all you want and play that gangster role in the comment section, say, hey, I'm trying to go, whatever the case is. But if you got 3 years left and big homie says, hey, go shank up homeboy in D block cell 222, okay, are you going to do that? Are you going to go catch some fresh charges and get some years added onto your sentence? Or are you going to check in? I mean, you're about to go home. And that's why putting in work comes in at number 3 on the list. You could be a warrior, stand up, solid individual, but you ain't no crash dummy. You ain't no crash dummy, man. And I respect you for making the wise choice. That's all there is to it. You want to get back home to your family, raise your children, or do you want to earn some stripes with a freaking bunch of individuals that don't mean shit, Now, if you were doing this stuff on the streets, it's a different story. You signed up for it, man. You chose that life. You chose that life. But some random cat coming in to the penitentiary and they're forced upon to ride with this certain groups, hey, man, that wasn't your life on the streets. Why are you going to make it your life in prison? I understand survival of the fittest, but survival is something else compared to stupidity. Shit, I got 1 year left. Someone tells me put in work, I'm going to be gone by 2 a.m. They ain't going to see me ever again. I'm gone, dog. Oh, I got him first thing in the morning. I'll get him first thing in the morning, big homie, I promise. Foo! I'm gone, dog. See ya. And that's a fact. And that's me being real 100%. Okay? I came into penitentiary alone. I'm going to leave it alone. Facts. And everyone says they make the best of friends in prison. Look, I wasn't in there to make homeboys and friends, even though there were some good cats in there. But honestly, I can't remember half these fools' names. I didn't take none of their information. The only people's information that I took were cats that I still write to this day, and 2 of them have life. Still write them. And that's simply because I know they're going to need all the support that they can get. Okay, good guys that just so happen to have life. But all them other dudes are getting out 5, 6, 7 years, hey, sorry, bro, it was nice meeting you. We did our time together, we worked out, but as far as that, look, if I see you, dap you up, maybe we'll have something to drink later on down the road, but I'm not going to stay in contact with every single person that I think is a good dude in prison. Because I'm coming home to live my life as a family man, make money, and I don't want none of that bullshit surrounding me, man, because unfortunately, half of these cats are going home to do the same old shit that they did their whole damn life. Sad to say, man, but that's the truth. Now coming in at number 4 on the list, ladies and gentlemen, this might not pertain to every inmate, but I can strongly say to the majority of individuals locked up, this is a horrible fear for them. All right, you're in love with a woman. You're in love with a woman. You're married to her. You've been with her for years upon years. She's holding you down like a champ for a year and a half, and you still got 6 years left on your sentence. You call home one day, she don't answer. You call home again later on that night, she don't answer. You call home in the morning, she don't answer. You call home in the afternoon, night, morning, afternoon, night, morning, afternoon, night, day after day, and nobody answers. Mail stops, money stops. Don't even hear the voice of your kids no more. She went radio silent so good that you're not even thinking about Jody. You're thinking about, damn, is she even alive? You know? But in all actuality, she met someone else. And, you know, I'm not going to chalk it up to, hey, the girl is, you know, unloyal or nothing. But look, you got to put yourself in her shoes, man. You're going to be gone for 6, 7 years. 6, 7 years, if not more. Okay? That's a long damn time to wait. I mean, it really tests an individual's love for that person. But at the same time, I mean, that takes its toll on any individual. Being without your significant other for years upon years upon years. That's why every time I got locked up, even though I love my wife and all that good stuff, I try to block it. I try to block it out my mind because I don't want to be let down. I've had my heart broken before in the past, and I swear to myself I would never let that happen to me again. You know, you can love an individual but still build up this wall to where, hey, you're not going to get hurt no more. You know, unfortunately, it might hurt a little bit, but it ain't going to be like that one time, you know, where you had crazy thoughts going through your mind. You were doing stupid stuff. Every guy, man, just about every guy out there that watches this channel knows exactly what I'm talking about. Love will make you do some crazy stuff. And when you lose the love of your life behind bars, man, it's treacherous. Some people end up doing things to themselves or to others just because their girl ain't there for them no more. You know, and that is the worst way to do time when you're really hooked on a girl and you're trying to maintain that relationship 100% through a phone call and a visit once a week. It's hard. It takes its toll on you emotionally and physically. I've seen a lot of individuals get heartbroken in the penitentiary, man. And these guys are so full of joy. So full of joy. They're happy, funny individuals. But when this stuff happens, it's like they're a zombie. They have no life left in them. So I would say number 4 on the list is having your heart broken. You know, prison's hard enough as it is. And I can't stress this enough, ladies or gentlemen out there that have a significant other locked up. You have no idea how powerful getting a letter is. Okay, getting your name called when mail comes. It means so much to that person to say, hey, I got some mail. I got, this letter sprayed with perfume. You smell the letter for freaking days upon days. You'll just smell that letter just to, every smell is bringing back memories of your old lady. You know, when my brother passed away, my mom used to smell his clothes for at least, I'd say, a good month or 2 after he passed. Because the smell of my brother was on him, the cologne that he used. And to this day, I can still smell that cologne he used, man. And that brings me into number 5. Number 5, all this stuff, all this physical harm put upon a person, that's one thing in itself. You can harm me, but when it comes to my loved ones, it's a whole different story, all right? So number 5 on the list, and I'd say is my biggest fear when I was locked up, was losing a loved one. Can you imagine, okay? I know there's a lot of people out there that families suck, and they don't really have loved ones. But let's say you have a child, okay? Or you do have great, wonderful parents that you just love 100%. They've been there for you, taught you everything you know, spent their whole life dedicating themselves to you, okay? And you're in prison. And then you get a call from the chaplain saying, When you hear that chaplain say, hey, the chaplain wants to see you, that's probably the worst thing you want to hear, because more than likely, 99% chance someone in your family has passed away. Now just imagine your father or mother that you just love 100%, or your child. They pass away. They pass away, and you couldn't even say one word to them before they went on to meet their maker. You couldn't say goodbye. You couldn't express how much you love them. That, ladies and gentlemen, to me was my worst fear. When you get older, you know, and you're locked up, still going to penitentiary, 28 years old, still going to prison, your parents, your loved ones are getting older, grandparents, whatever the case, whoever you choose to show all your love to in your family, they're getting older as well. And even children, you know, you never know what could happen. You never know. They could be diagnosed with something incurable, and you're stuck in prison, you know, eating ramen noodles when you should be there to take care of your child or your, dying loved one. But you can't. You're completely helpless, and you can't even go to their damn funerals. I know some prisons, they allow you, give you a furlough to go to the funeral, but not in Virginia. You ain't gonna go to no damn funeral in Virginia. You might as well, there ain't nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. Your loved one's gone. Get over it. Sad to say, man. But that's the life of the penitentiary. And you know, the list goes on. There's many other fears I could sit here and talk to you about. Many more. Maybe there could be a part 2 of this, but to me, ladies and gentlemen, that is the top 5 worst fears an inmate could possibly have. Now, before I go, I would like to read an email to y'all. I want to hear y'all's input. Okay, if you can, in the comment section, just type the number 1 if you would like to see this, and number 2 if you wouldn't like to see this, okay? I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm gonna read this email to you and tell me if you feel as though this guest should come onto the show. Feeling the videos I've seen so far, my boy Josh gave you a great breakdown of Gladiator School and Florida prison system, though you might want a part 2. I did all of his bids with him, from county to the pen. He did about 4. I did a dime piece, 10 years. I would like to elaborate and verify his stories, but also show the success and struggle people need to hear. And Josh is the guest I had on the other day from JIT camp. I was sentenced to 20 years at the age of 16, more time than I have lived on this earth. But I went through every gladiator camp in Florida and was on lockdown for 29 months for multiple stabbings. Was on the helicopter that everyone speaks of for getting stabbed. Been to the dungeon in D Block and Brevard, the worst cell blocks in Florida prison system. Even was next door to death row. But now I'm 28, been home almost 3 years and run 3 successful businesses. He goes on to talk about the stuff he has. Okay, he's a very successful individual now. But he says, I want to do this for the struggle, represent for that 1% who did their time right and got home and made it happen. I lived it, bro. But I would do this under one condition. I would have to wear a mask. The story I have to tell would affect my businesses if my face was on it. So masked up, and I'll bring you the truth for your followers to feel it. Arrested at 16, almost died at 18, sat next door to death row for 29 months for a stabbing and retaliation with a battery on a Leo with a corrupt cop. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Should we bring this guy on? He'll have a mask. He'll have a mask. And I understand if he's running 3 successful businesses, your image is your business to a lot of individuals, okay? And unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to deal with convicts or know their story. And if they do, he might lose a lot of business. So let me know what you think. 1 for yes, 2 for no. I've never had a guest on with a mask. I probably don't really want to have anyone on with a mask because you connect with the person through their facial expressions. It's hard to put into words, but y'all know what I'm talking about. You can really tell if a person's telling the truth or lying through facial expressions. And that's a fact. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button. If you did, go check out all my links in the description of the video. Add me up on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. You can add me up on Twitch, but I'm not going to lie to you. I ain't been on it. I'm doing all my gaming on my other channel, 23 and Fun, and behind the scenes vlogs, and we're gonna be going on a trip, so a lot of content's coming your way on my other channel. But live streams daily, every day, and I get so furious with Blackout, Call of Duty, Black Ops 4, straight rage, okay? If you like to see old Death rage, go hit that subscribe button on my other channel. I do it daily, ladies and gentlemen. And it's growing, man, it's growing. We got a consistent amount of viewers during every day's live streams, and it's great, it's great. So I do apologize to everyone that does follow me on Twitch, but unfortunately, hey, when I stream over there, people don't show up. So, hey, why am I going to keep on going over there? I'm a rock with YouTube. 23 and 1 and 23 and Fun. For life, ladies and gentlemen, for life. And as always, I salute every last one of you been supporting me since the beginning and everyone who's just now joining the lockdown compound. Y'all be easy and be safe out there.